You die once, and suddenly you're not invisible. Explore the story of Heed, who was a corpse for a while, but is back to life and trying to learn about just what had happened, only to discover the story is far stranger than that. Inspired by manga, Alter X Artifact is a new LGBTQ+ webcomic for mature readers revolving around magic and political espionage. This comic features fantastic elements, gripping storytelling, and impressive visuals that pull you into the strange but fascinating world of the comic. Alter X Artifact explores themes of magic, dreams, and relationships, all while deftly weaving a compelling mystery with eye-catching visuals. You're still in time to enjoy the exciting prologue as well, but you gotta hurry over on to the website. So, if you're looking for your next weekly webcomic read, you need to go to alterxartifact.com. That is alterxartifact.com. Now back to the show.
We did get those Supernatural Selection ribbons in, by the way, David. So we're going to hand out like 100 ribbons with the URL at DragonCon.
Perfect.
Yep, and they all say Cosmic Death Fungus Enthusiast. And that being said, welcome to Supernatural Selection. This is your Weekend Weird. I'm your host, Kevin Heyman. With me are Mike the Skeptic. Mike, how are you this week?
I am full of fried rice.
I envy you.
Yes. I fried it myself.
You fried it all by yourself.
Yep.
I'm excited for you. That's cool. And we've got Mr. David Davis. David, how are you this week?
Doing pretty well. I've been boning my way across Sanctuary.
Is this a,
I'm playing a necromancer on Diablo 4,
Okay.
and all my skills are bone adjacent, so...
Okay.
I thought you were just having sex across a church.
You weird man.
Not lately.
Not this time.
Yeah.
No.
So, guys, what have we got to talk about up top? First off, there's been a gross mistake made. We need to welcome our newest patron to the Patreon, Ghost Forge.
Woo!
So, thank you for your donation, Ghost Forge. We are very happy to have you. I have tried to record something for the Patreon twice now, and cats are the bane of my existence when I try to record alone.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, no kidding. And beyond that, we want to thank everyone that has been listening, and a reminder that we do in fact have a Patreon, and you can find a link to that at supernatpod.rocks. Now, that being said, it's the Weekend Weird. David, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the 2,000-pound UAP in the room.
Ooh, that's a big one.
So, right, Wednesday of last week, we had another congressional hearing. Much like the previous one, not a whole lot to it. I watched the whole thing. I want my money and my time back. They can cut me a tax refund check.
That's understandable.
So I what I'm gonna do is I do have some notes, but I'm gonna kind of pull together from 3 articles that I think lay out the situation pretty well. We'll make sure that we have those articles in the show notes and everything like that. But yeah, I watched and I took notes and everything like that, and it's a whole lot of nothing, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
what was that?
Oh,
Mike?
yes.
It's unfortunately seems to be the way all this goes.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll get into it. So, first article, I'm gonna a brief overview from NBC News. Here are the 5 most memorable moments from Congress's UFO hearing. So, as far as the hearing goes, there were 3 gentlemen who testified. Lieutenant Ryan Graves, Executive Director for Americans for Safe Aerospace and a former Navy F-18 pilot.
Okay.
David Grush, who we've probably heard a lot about.
We've talked about Grush, yes.
Yeah, former Senior Intelligence Officer for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. And the last gentleman was retired Navy Commander David Fravor.
Fravor.
Fravor, yep. So, a House Oversight Subcommittee held a hearing on UFOs, specifically known as Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, or UAPs, and heard mystifying testimony about unexplained objects and government possession of non-human biological matter. Lawmakers on the committee, baffled by some of the testimony, repeatedly noted that UAP sightings are an issue of bipartisan concern and raise national security questions. Separately, some accused the federal government of endeavoring to conceal key UFO-related information from the public, though they did not provide evidence to support these allegations.
Right. That's one of the things that I've been hearing about with the whole thing is they make all these extraordinary claims and they have no extraordinary proof to go along with it.
Yes, let's go ahead and get into some of these claims. So
Sure.
The first sub-headline in this article is government is, quote, absolutely in possession of UAPs.
Okay.
This claim comes from none other than David Grush, who we've been hearing a lot about.
Yep.
He told the panel that he is, quote, absolutely certain that federal government is in possession of UAPs, citing interviews he said he conducted with 40 witnesses over a 4-year period. The former U.S. intelligence official said he led Defense Department efforts to analyze reported UAP sightings and was informed of a multi-decade Pentagon program that endeavored to collect and reconstruct crashed UAPs. Asked by Representative Jared Moskowitz, Democrat of Florida, how such a program is funded, Grush claimed that the efforts are above congressional oversight and bankrolled by a misappropriation of funds. Moskowitz would then ask, does that mean that there is money in the budget that is going to a program, that is meant to go to a program, but it doesn't and goes to something else? And then Grush claims, yes, I have specific knowledge of that, though he did not provide more details, claiming the information remains classified. So that's one of the big things from this whole thing is David Grush, when we've heard his song and dance for like a couple months now leading up to this. And it's a lot of like, oh no, trust me, bro. I've done the research. I've interviewed the people. We totally have UAPs.
Now, I want to ask you something real quick about this. When we covered the whole Grush thing during the Weekend Weird you and me did that week,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, didn't we figure out that he used to be a disinformation agent, and now he's like, but no, totally, this time I'm telling the truth?
I'm trying to remember which one. I don't remember. I
Okay.
can't say.
All right, that's fair.
Well, if he's a misinformation agent, he's doing a hell of a job right now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so second claim, quote, non-human biologics were found at a crash site.
You know what qualifies as a non-human biologic?
Cum.
Anteaters.
Oh, okay.
Dogs, cats, gerbils,
Dog
fish.
cum.
Yeah, cum. Enough with the cum, my God. Okay, yes, true. Any form of cum. Well, no, human cum is human biologic. So, but yeah.
Non-animal loads everywhere.
Yep, just fucking cat spooge all over the place. I'm sorry, continue.
Again, this is Grush. Grush, who underscored that he has not personally spotted a UAP, told the panel that he knows of, quote, multiple colleagues who were injured by UAPs. He also said he has interviewed individuals who have recovered, quote, non-human biologics from crashed UAPs. Grush said that he prefers the term non-human rather than alien or extraterrestrial.
That's semantics.
Okay?
That's semantics. I mean, it's still... just say an alien, all right? Just fucking say an alien. I don't care if it's from another dimension. Just say an alien.
Asked by Representative Eric Burleson, Republican of Montana, to substantiate the crashed UAP's claim, the former intelligence official said he cannot divulge specific details. Funny. Once again claiming the information was too sensitive to share with the public. He did, however, describe the nature of what he saw. Quote, I have to be very careful here, but what I personally witnessed, myself and my wife, was very disturbing. Naturally, a Pentagon spokesperson told NBC News that Grush's claims are false. So, again, it's another like, oh no, dude, I totally saw, like, recovered alien bits.
But I can't tell you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the third major takeaway from this. Officials must establish a safe and transparent reporting process. We talked a lot about this last time we did the congressional thing because there's a lot of concern about like these things being in the airspace.
Right.
Maybe they're not of extraterrestrial origin. Maybe they're spy drones or something like that.
There's still unlicensed air vehicles in our airspace causing problems and could cause, like, not even from a national security problem, this could fuck up, like, what if one of these things plowed into a friggin' airliner?
Yeah. So like obviously Grush not the best sort of witness for this sort of thing. He's kind of the crackpot in all of this. However, Ryan Graves, one of the men who was testifying, former Navy pilot, told the panel that military pilots do not feel adequately briefed on UAPs, which he said leaves them unprepared to respond to UAP encounters, which I think is valid.
That's right, Mike. That's.
I mean, I guess, but I guess it all depends on what exactly they are.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. They don't know what these are.
Yeah, but if you don't know what it is, you can't be properly briefed on it.
Well, all I'm saying is like, hey, you might see some weird glowy shit up there. I don't know.
And maybe we see enough of certain UAPs to like classify them. You know what I mean? So, we don't know what the fuck it is, but we know that it's an orb, and an orb has generally this sort of pattern or something like that.
Being briefed on a flock of geese.
That's fair. That's fair. But I don't think he's out of line with this.
I guess it depends on how often it happens.
Well, apparently he also claims that commercial airline pilots have spotted UAPs too.
Now that I've heard stories of from airline pilots.
Mm-hmm.
But of course it was UFOs. Yeah. It was the 70s, and there was a lot of drinking in the 70s.
Here's the problem, though, is that there's lots of stuff in the air, and when you have a split second to see something, you can't tell if that was a something really weird or if it was in fact just a goose.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but I also think that I think just being able to make it more transparent and less consequences to like reporting shit like this, if it does end up making us safer by creating some sort of classifications, why not?
I don't think there's any like problems with reporting it now. They've already taken that away.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because here's the fourth point. Stigma associated with sightings silences possible witnesses.
Well, here's the problem, though, is that the stigma, you can't control that because that's just your other pilots. You can't, that's like teachers trying to, keep kids from bullying each other. I mean, it's not something that's 100% changeable.
This isn't necessarily from their peers either, based on what I'm reading here.
Well,
some witnesses and lawmakers at the hearing argued that the stigma associated with reporting UFO sightings, as well as the alleged harassment of those who work to investigate them, may be hindering efforts to determine their origins. Graves told the panel that the stigma silences pilots who fear professional repercussions, which he said is compounded by recent government claims questioning the credibility of eyewitness testimony. The federal...
Eyewitness testimony is, by its nature,
flawed.
Flawed, yes.
Yeah, no, I will agree with that.
So, yes, you have to start from a position of belief, but you can't necessarily
accept everything wholesale
Yeah,
that someone tells you.
can't.
No, I totally understand. I've had
Right,
people tell
right,
me
but-
shit
but-
that I don't believe, but you know.
But the issue here is like if you see some weird shit in the sky that's kind of like making you uncomfortable as a pilot, you shouldn't have to worry about losing your job reporting it.
Oh yeah, no, that's understandable. I can
That
get
seems to
behind
be
that.
the main thing that I'm seeing here.
I thought they've already said. I thought they already like did away with that though.
That's the thing. I guess apparently not. Like it might be
think it
better
was-
now,
I
but then
think what
again,
it
that
was
was
is-
what, a year ago?
It lifted some of the stigma.
Yeah, like it
From what
was
I
like a
understand.
year ago that happened.
But maybe
Yeah.
this is just commercial pilots now, because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it's
so-
all military was.
Yeah,
You know,
no, it's possible.
Well, it says the Federal Aviation Administration has no mechanism for pilots to report UAPs and instead directs them to civilian groups that are often dismissed as the domain of cranks and conspiracy theorists.
Move on.
I feel
Well-
targeted.
well, so that sounds like a budgetary problem because the FAA doesn't have anything set up for that because they don't have the money to set up anything.
That's
for
true,
that.
and that would be why
Yeah.
you send them to MUFON, and then
So-
Jerry from MUFON shows up with like ketchup stains on his shirt.
I heard you guys
I'm sure-
need to hear about UFOs.
I'm sure it's not MUFON,
Yeah.
but it probably more like more local pilots associations.
Oh no, that's what they're getting to in this article. Those institutional hurdles led by Graves to form a first of its kind group that pushes for policy changes, serves as a hub for pilot whistleblowers and advocates for more disclosure by the military and other government agencies. Let's see. Lawmakers said they hope the hearing could help assuage pilots' fears of speaking out. So again, it's also like if the FDA or was it the FDA?
FAA.
No,
FAA.
the FAA. Yeah. If the FAA doesn't have an internal system in place, then stuff like this is going to hopefully raise awareness. To like, okay, well, we need to start budgeting for that.
Or something. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know
take
how
like
much
a half a
budget they
percent
have.
from the federal military budget and put it into the FAA or something.
That's good luck with that.
Yeah.
Right.
We've been
But-
we've been
but-
We can't feed the hungry,
We've
but
been-
boy, we can nuke some people.
we've been fighting for like 1/4% of the military budget for universal health care.
Yeah.
And see
Right.
where that's gotten.
So then the final claim, UFOs spotted accelerating to, quote, supersonic speeds. This is from the third testimony. David Fravor, a former Navy commander, said he and 3 fellow military pilots spotted a white tic-tac-shaped object in 2004 hovering below their jets and just above the Pacific Ocean. We've probably all seen the tic-tac video before.
yeah, obviously, yes.
Yeah. As he descended to inspect the sighting, he claimed that the unidentified aircraft, which he said bore no visible rotors, wings, or exhaust, began to ascend and approach his fighter jet. He claimed that the UAP then vanished, only to reappear a few seconds later, but this time it was spotted 60 miles away. Fravor told the committee that the technology he and his team encountered defies logical explanation. Quote, the technology we faced is far superior to anything we had, Fravor claimed. Quote, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
Oh, that is a threat.
So
And that's how the article ends, by the way.
the Tic Tac video. That's the one from
the plane.
No, well the from the foundation. What's the guy?
Oh, to the stars.
Yeah.
The Tom DeLonge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Tom DeLonge got a name drop in this one.
So
as well.
I've
course.
seen a takedown of that video.
Well, I think
Hey,
we've talked about it
yeah.
on here. The fact that it's a moving object tracking a moving object
Yeah.
at different
And,
levels,
and the camera is not stationary. I mean,
Right.
like the plane, obviously the camera's on is moving, but it's also a gimbaling camera. So as the camera is turning to track the object, the background object and the plane the camera's mounted on are all moving at different rates. Mm-hmm. So you can't the
Speed's
object
hard
moving
to judge because of that.
The object moving against the background is not a accurate judge of its velocity or its trajectory. So
Thanks, Mr. Wizard.
yeah. So the Tic Tac video is probably like a bird or something
Right.
against the ocean.
You know, again, fair. I'm going to just pull 2 highlights from 2 other articles. This one is from Time, What We Know and What We Don't Know About UFOs After the Congressional Hearing. Quoting from here, That doesn't mean that the 650 sightings of UAPs don't bear looking into, especially
Oh, yeah.
many lawmakers and military personnel argue if they represent advanced military technology deployed by adversarial nations like Russia or China. Quote, if UAP are foreign drones, it is an urgent national security problem, testified U.S. Navy fighter pilot Ryan Graves at yesterday's hearing. Graves said that he once encountered a UAP off the coast of Virginia Beach during a training exercise. Quote, if it is something else, it is an issue for science. Continuing from there. And science is where things get awfully tricky, especially when it comes to how and why ET would be coming to our particular spot in the universe. There are up to 400 billion stars in the Milky Way, virtually every one of which is circled by at least one planet, and many by multiple planets like our own solar system. Our galaxy is about 100,000 light years across. A single light year is just shy of 9 trillion kilometers. Unless Einstein is wrong, and he hasn't been yet, nothing can exceed light speed, and merely approaching it would take an astonishing degree of technological development. To
Yes.
take all those figures and multiply them by 2 trillion, or the number of galaxies that observations by NASA's Hubble Space Telescope have estimated are in the universe. That makes for an awful lot of planets and an awful lot of cosmic real estate for visiting spacecraft to cover just to come to our little world.
Unless
So-
you're ultra-terrestrials.
Yeah. So, they don't even get into ultra-terrestrials here. That's
Oh,
like
of
a
course
little
not.
too woo-woo for the
Oh,
public
yeah,
right
no,
now.
God, if you
That's-
said that, like, you could just watch Congress shit their
Look.
pants.
Look, I think
Right.
that's too woo-woo, and every time
Yeah.
Kevin mentions it, I look at him like potatoes are growing out of his ears.
That's fair.
But if we said there's like oil in another dimension, they would find a way to cross that barrier.
Well, see, the problem
yeah.
is we can't even detect other dimensions, let alone if we know they exist.
right.
Oh, they would pump the money into that if
Oh,
there's
yeah.
even a hint
Just
of
tell them there's
energy.
oil. And
but,
a cure
um,
for a limp dick.
But I wanted to talk about that one because like more than likely a lot of these UAPs, if they're not optical illusions, they're probably more terrestrial based. They are probably drones and that sort of thing,
So-
and that's the main. Like statistically, the odds are against us of having like alien visitors or interdimensional visitors.
So something I just thought of is that so the other dimensional beings. You know what's more I find more plausible than that?
What's that?
Time travelers.
That is a completely valid theory.
I
That
mean,
they're
I think time
future
travel
humans.
is still impossible, at least backwards, obviously.
But you'd be willing to give that more of a shot than
because-
extra dimensional beings.
Because I think another dimension would be way harder to get to than just
Okay.
the past.
Okay. What about underground civilizations? Like,
They-
what if it's Lacerda?
They would have to learn how to breathe magma.
Magma.
Because we know the
Liquid
density
hot
of the
magma.
Earth, and there's no large habitable pockets down there.
I want to throw in, there's two really important things that have not been brought up about all this. Number one, have sales on Tic Tacs increased since that video was released?
Probably not, but
Number two, I did a quick Google search and I can find no link between geese and UAPs, but there are links to pelicans.
yeah.
The fucking pelicans
Well,
are still an
they're-
issue.
They're pretty big, too.
Yeah.
But no, and so I would say, even all that aside, looking into this stuff is worthwhile, even with my skepticism, because just when you think about it, you have your pilots up there, and they're seeing something, even if it is just swamp gas and geese. You still want to reassure them that what they're seeing is just swamp gas and geese.
Right.
Because you don't want them freaking out. You want them to have all the information they can, and in case they do see. So with enemy actor drones or balloons or something, those are way more likely to be caught by radar. But on the off chance that a pilot does see something that's bad, say it's a super duper stealth drone or something like that, then of course, you do want them to have a way to report that,
It,
because you won't know
if
what
you
it
see
is.
something, say something.
And you won't know what it is. You'll just know it looks like it didn't appear on radar.
Mm-hmm.
It was not, because I don't know how much either of you know about civil aviation, but there's constant like comm chatter. Like,
Oh yeah.
these pilots,
Yeah.
anyone that's in the area are all on the same frequency, and they're all communicating together.
Yeah. It's like being on the CB.
And
Yeah,
anytime
10-4 rubber duck. This is Canada Goose.
And anytime an airplane is not where it's supposed to be and where it's saying it is, it's a bad time.
Yeah, some control tower dude just shitting himself at that moment.
Yeah,
And every
no,
pilot in
seriously.
the vicinity that could have a overlapping
Yeah.
corridor. So if a pilot sees an object that obviously isn't on the comm chatter, isn't on his radar, it's a problem.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna quote from one more article here. This one's from NPR. Article is U.S. recovered non-human biologics from UFO crash sites. Former intel official says.
Again, it's
but
fish.
Yeah, again, it's David Grush. Whatever. You don't see me, but I'm making a jerking off motion right now.
That's fair.
So here's another UAP sighting from one of the more legitimate witnesses here. The subcommittee also heard testimony from former Navy fighter pilot Ryan Graves, retired Commander David Fravor, about their alleged encounters with aircraft of unexplained origin. Graves recounted an incident with a flying object off the coast of Virginia Beach in 2014. While flying an F-18, he said he came upon an aircraft that looked like a, quote, dark gray or black cube inside of a clear sphere.
I've heard of this one.
That he estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter, and unlike any aircraft he had ever seen. Graves claimed the UAP could remain stationary despite hurricane-force winds. He told lawmakers his squadron submitted a safety report at the time, but that he received no official acknowledgement of the incident. According to the former pilot, UAP encounters in that region were not rare or isolated. Of course, then Graves would later found the Americans for Safe Aerospace. He added, if anyone could see the sensor and video data I witnessed, our national conversation would change. So a lot of this is what we've talked about before. No real revelations here. Although one of my favorite moments, and by favorite moment I mean something that made me want to just end the world.
Yeah, what's that?
One of the representatives had this like cringy kind of so number one, there's a lot of this like talk of like, oh well, this is bipartisan, this is in a partisan committee, and then like one of the representatives goes on to do like the most partisan shit possible. So this is Mr. Burchett, who's the representative of Tennessee.
Oh, fuck him. I believe one of our friends of the show has been bitching about this guy lately.
Yeah, go ahead and watch Flagged for Content.
Yes.
So yeah, they're talking about the Tic Tac UFO, and he goes, Tic Tac like the candy, not the TikTok Chinese communist app.
Oh, fucking Christ.
My daughter said, okay, boomer. It just like, this is brain vomit from this guy who should probably be in a retirement home.
This is the modern version of it's a series of tubes.
Yeah, it just, oh my God. But he's like, oh yeah, no, this, and he was the one who kept going like, oh no, this isn't a partisan issue, but he would continue to like take shots, very partisan shots. So again, just, I want my 2 hours back.
I guarantee you, in public or private, this man has referred to COVID as, quote, the China virus.
And I'm sure he's referred to a black person by the N-word.
Oh, yeah, no, obviously.
Yeah.
Either
So,
of
yeah,
the N-words.
That was a whole lot of nothing, and I apologize, but I felt like we needed to cover it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say that it is the stance of supernatural selection and whatever our little organization here is called, that both Grush and Lou Elizondo can both go fuck themselves.
Yep. There we go. No, signed.
Yep. Mike, you down?
Um,
These are the two. These are the two
Yeah.
quote whistleblowers that
Yeah.
keep talking disclosure.
yeah, I mean, if they want to, intercourse themselves, they can.
Yeah. Well, I encourage them to do so. In fact,
I'm just happy Tom DeLonge got a shout out. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him and Blink 182 having reunited. I hope it helps sell tickets.
It's just I keep remembering that album Enema of the State and the very, very specific song that Tom wrote about aliens.
Oh,
and it's like, oh god, it all makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my bit. I've got another fun story, but what do you gentlemen have?
Well, first off, I just want to say I did look it up, and Tic Tac sales have increased since the Tic Tac video. So I'm going to let Mike tackle the next one.
All right, so
Tic Tackle.
this is from Monday of this week.
Ooh.
It is earlier this year, the New York Times reported that an unknown federal agency had breached official White House policy and used secretive methods to conduct a business deal with the NSO Group, a blacklisted spyware vendor known for selling powerful surveillance tools. The agency in question not only brazenly disobeyed the government's official policy, but had also used a front company to facilitate the deal, suggesting that it knew what was happening and was not exactly kosher.
Is it the IMF?
So after the story was published, the FBI was ordered by President Biden to investigate. Now, several months later, the Bureau's investigation is complete, and it turns out that the agency that disobeyed the White House and purchased this creepy spyware tool was the FBI. The FBI investigated itself and found it, in fact, had bought the shitty spyware tool.
Them sons of bitches.
I'm surprised that they admitted it.
Yeah, that did kind of blow my mind. That the right hand found out the left hand was scratching the ass, and reported back.
Yeah,
Our
that's-
bad.
It's comedy, but it's also horrifyingly sad and scary.
It's dystopian comedy.
I'm a little sad nobody said anything about my IMF joke.
I didn't quite. It flew over my head.
Okay, Impossible Missions Force.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I've been watching.
I've been
Mission
watching a
Impossible
lot
movies.
of Mission Impossible lately.
Me too.
But yeah, so
That's
this
probably why you brought it up.
probably.
We'll talk about that on Distraction.
But this group has had several tools out of questionable veracity and usage. One of
Were
them,
they the ones who did Palantir?
So they had a tool known as Landmark that was supposed to allow you to triangulate the location of specific mobile users. There was Phantom, which could reportedly hack any phone in the U.S.
What's their next one? Adolf?
Yeah, no kidding.
And then there's going to be Hirohito and Mussolini.
Fat man, little boy,
Yep.
Oppenheimer,
Boars.
Rogan.
Rogan. Jesus. The Joe Rogan device.
It sprays the area with DMT.
Yeah, no, you set it off and everything just smells like Axe body spray.
So,
I just imagine he smells like Axe body spray and you can use his head as a roll-on. But sorry, Mike, I interrupted.
I was just going to say that, and the FBI is claiming that they were tricked into the deal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Tricked by
That's
want.
not great for an agency. Like
Yeah,
that.
I know. For the Federal Bureau of Investigation to be tricked into buying something.
Was the salesman Bugs Bunny?
Yeah.
Was
Daffy-
Agent Elmer Fudd working there?
Daffy Duck showed up with a briefcase and just sold it to him.
We need to spy on our citizens.
Yeah, apparently the federal contractor called Riva Networks was the middleman, and the FBI claims that Riva convince them that this tool was in-house developed, but it turns out it's from this NSO.
Of course.
Sounds like someone had financial interest.
Yes.
Probably was also, it doesn't say here, but I would wonder if NSO is also Russian, maybe?
I don't know. I do not know.
You know,
Indeed.
spy shit was cooler
Israeli.
back in like the 60s and 70s. Now we live in dumb spy times.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's
They
not
also,
as fun.
They were the same people that did Pegasus as well, yes.
You know, nobody these days...
Wow, they've done all the shitty spyware.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They did Palantir as well?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which
Well,
is the most hilariously evil name for
Yeah,
something like...
let's call it...
Jesus Christ, guys.
Let's name it after the evil nutsack from Lord of the Rings that everybody used to spy. Brilliant, boys. Just brilliant. That's a...
I long for the days of microfiche inside of a pen.
I wish there was more, like, seduction involved.
Yeah, more switchblade shoes.
Oh, yeah. I want like, a FBI agent, like, being romanced by, like... If they're gonna get suckered in by, like, a multi-level marketing scheme, I want it to be, like, a hot person, like, seducing.
Oh, God. Palantir is Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
Ooh.
The guy that took down Gizmodo via Hulk Hogan.
Fuck him hard. That guy is
Yeah.
a danger to society and freedom.
Yeah,
You know, as much as I use PayPal, PayPal has been absolutely awful in giving us terrible people.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean,
admittedly, I'd say Thiel is worse than Musk, but just barely nowadays. Like, a couple years ago, absolutely way worse. Nowadays, marginally, like, just a hair worse.
it's funny you say that, Mike.
And he's gaining, he's like running down that, you know, he's a slow starter, but he's
Yeah.
running down Peter
But,
Thiel.
Mike, it's funny you say that. I literally just saw someone theorize that Musk was possessed by the spirit of rich, low-tax Kyanka on the moment of his death, and that's why his life has gone downhill. He is taking the low-tax route, and he found
What
a way
a
to
very online reference.
I know, but he also found a way to con people out of $10.
No, it's just plain old midlife crisis because your super young wife dumped you.
Yep, low tax checks out.
Well, he was abusing her.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, I have no idea if Musk was abusive. He could have been.
He may
Maybe
just be a
might have.
dickbag.
Or just
X
a
the
diva.
platform, ex-wife, ex-family.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
So, Mike, you got anything else on that one?
No, that's pretty much run its course.
Okay, well, first off,
Nothing like good old-fashioned government dystopian like
Yeah.
spy shit.
Well, also-
incompetent spy shit.
yeah, stupid spy shit. Like, that. It's like one of those things where the FBI would spy on itself and not know they were spying on themselves. It's like
Fucking get smart.
Yeah, it's like it's like a drug deal going down, and it turns out both of the people are undercover cops. You know, it's that kind of thing.
Missed it by that much.
Well, the CIA steps on the FBI steps on a CIA, op.
Yeah, it's,
And then
It's
the
like it's
DEA
like the FBI is trying to sneak up on the CIA and it steps on its own rake.
you know, there is a podcast about this kind of shit I've been meaning to check out called like Alphabet Games,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I heard about that.
it's about that kind of stuff.
Well,
So-
I was just thinking, the FBI is investigating something, and it finds out the CIA's behind it, and then the DEA just like comes trundling in like the fucking Kool-Aid man.
oh yeah.
I smell cocaine.
So, before I move on to my story, I just want to throw out there that toward the end of last month, Kevin Mitnick, quote, world's most famous hacker, passed away at the age of 59. Now, if you don't
Rest
know,
in power.
yeah. Now, if you don't know who Kevin Mitnick is, I'm gonna read the Gizmodo article. Kevin Mitnick, once considered the most wanted cybercriminal in America, passed away at the age of 59. Apparently, he died of pancreatic cancer.
That's what Jobs died of.
And in the 80s and 90s, he was a hacker. He was breaking into various corporations and government computers. And he was arrested, served time, and when he got out, he was under the stipulation that he could not use a computer ever.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah.
I think even before he was sentenced, like, while they were still in the trial, he
Yeah.
was forbidden from touching a computer.
Yeah.
He's the closest thing we have to a real life Neo.
Well, here's the thing. There was a movie based on him, and it was called Hackers.
Very loosely.
Very, very loosely.
And that it was just a character that, also got in trouble hacking.
Yeah.
But that character was, like, still a teenager, and he was never, like, in prison for a long time. He was just, forbidden from touching a computer. But, of course...
Wasn't the guy playing the character based on him played by Shaggy? What's his name? Matthew Lillard?
No. He was in that.
Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah.
It was a main character based on Kevin Mitnick. But
Yeah, and
Angelina Jolie.
no, the dude that was trying to get in her pants.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm sorry.
It's been a while. I'm going to have to look up who that was, but I think it's funny that when you get out...
Johnny Lee Miller?
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, he's not done anything.
Oh, I bet he hasn't. Because he was... Out of everyone around him, he is the one no one gave a shit about. Because he was like dumb white guy number 2 that got hired to do that. And then like everybody around it has gone on to do stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, point is, do you know what he did after he got out of prison, David?
What do you do?
He was a white hat cybersecurity professional.
He became the system.
He legally broke into people's systems to test their security, and then
Fuck yeah.
sold them a way to not have that happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is,
It's like breaking into
that.
a person's house to sell them ADT.
Exactly, and I think that's great, especially since it was corporations. Fuck
That
corporations.
is badass, man.
Yeah, no, I adore Kevin Mitnick, and, rest in peace, man. But that was not my story. I just wanted to get that out of the way because, Kevin Mitnick's just one of those figures that, for a while, he was the shit. They also had, like, the Free Kevin movement online, where you'd see people like this one African-American gentleman inexplicably in a Superman costume holding a sign that said, Free Kevin.
Hell yeah.
And when they did that, one of my friends would joke, Free Kevin with purchase of a small Coke. So, anyway, I have a story, though.
Okay.
And David, it's from phantomsandmonsters.com.
Motherfucker.
I don't think this one is as bad as that last two.
We'll find out.
All right, this one's from Friday, July 14th, 2023. Homeless man encounters short humanoids in coveralls with strange eyewear.
the Seven Dwarves?
It kind of sounds like that.
Right?
So, a homeless man attempts to set up a campsite, get warm, and catch some sleep in a small patch of woods. He encounters 3 unknown humanoids in coveralls with strange eyewear. I received the following account. Quote, at the time that this incident occurred, I was homeless and got around on an old bicycle. One evening, I was looking for a spot to set up a quick campsite in a small patch of woods along a public bicycle path in west-central Darke County, Ohio. I was cold and eager to get a small fire started and get into my sleeping bag. The area is a refuge for stray cats, which I'm already like, okay, dude, I'm there. If I'm going to be homeless, I'm hanging out with the kitties. Many locals drop off their unwanted or stray cats in this area, and some local kind-hearted folks feed them and provide plastic containers for shelter. When I found what I thought would be a suitable spot to set up a camp, I set my bag down and walked a few steps to a large tree to empty my bladder. I had a small flashlight in my bag.
I thought he said I had a small bladder.
Yeah, sorry. Had a small flashlight, though. Not fleshlight, but flashlight in my bag. But the night sky provided enough light after my eyes were adjusted. Suddenly a cat dashed through the brush very near me and startling me, then another further to my left. As I looked toward the sound of the last cat running, I could make out the shape of the plastic containers in a small circle. These containers housed some cats. I then noticed 3 sets of pinkish-orange glowing objects with slight movement. I first assumed the glowing objects were the reflections of 3 cats' eyes. After watching the objects further, approximately 30 seconds, I saw that the glowing was in fact some sort of eyewear worn by 3 human-like figures.
Is it the fucking Oompa Loompas?
Maybe.
What is Wonka up to?
Oh, what's he doing in Ohio?
What's he want with the cats?
I don't like the look of it. Anyway, as I knelt down to watch them, I could see these figures were handling the cats, and the subjects were wearing very low reflective off-white or gray coveralls. After about 2 minutes, all 3 subjects turned their heads toward me. Thinking they might be animal control workers and not wanting to frighten them, I stood up and asked, "How you doing?" With no vocal response, all 3 began moving toward me instantly, closing the 30 feet that separated us.
Well, did they just fucking teleport like an anime character?
I guess. Slowly again I asked, "What are you guys doing out here?" They continued moving towards me. I heard one of them talking or communicating, but inside my head and in a strange whisper. I couldn't understand. I also noticed they were shorter than me. I'm 5'10", and guess they were about 10 or 12 inches shorter than me? I turned, got on my bicycle, and pedaled out of there. After several minutes of fast riding, I noticed no vehicles or signs of activity. It was almost like I entered a time warp. I didn't notice anyone or anything following me. I eventually found my way out of the area, but I was disoriented for many hours. I didn't sleep that night and continued riding west until I couldn't continue. I finally stopped and slept a few hours in a small park. I have no idea who those figures in the coveralls were, but I don't believe that they were human. Signed,
I'm just worried about the
H.
cats.
Yeah, what were they doing with the cats? What were these little fucks doing with the cats?
Got no closure on the cats, man.
I know, fucking coward.
Maybe it's like that episode of South Park where they're getting high off the cat pee.
Ew.
Cheesing.
What if it's
cheesing.
It may be underpants gnomes.
Yeah, the underpants gnomes.
Yes, exactly. But the funny thing is, this kind of reminds me of a story I read about from 56, 57, or it may have been the 40s. I don't remember. It was in Minnesota. A guy was walking home one night, and he saw these little gray dwarf-looking dudes, like about 2 feet tall, wearing weird overalls and walking along just like mumbling, going, "Good, never have it," and he just ran.
Oh, and correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there a lot of sightings like that back during Vietnam as well? With the tunnels and everything like that, there were a lot of because I remember they mentioned it in Hellier. They mentioned in Hellier.
Okay.
That a
See,
lot of,
I was like, "Are you calling the Vietnamese cryptids? What are you doing here?"
No, but no, specifically it was something that was brought up in Hellier. Again, there was like a lot of racism involved in the stories. I think it was Vietnam. I think it was Vietnam.
Okay. No, I've heard of that because there's a lot of weird cryptids. I feel like we should go and do an episode about Vietnam. Paranormal.
Yeah, but like there was a term that was used. I'm not going to use the term because it was racist.
Oh no, it's terrible.
But like the descriptions of like other, because obviously the Vietnamese dug a ton of tunnels, but seeing something that wasn't a Vietnamese person in the tunnel, that's the vibe, and from what I recall, they were described as very short.
Right. I just want to point out that these little motherfuckers were wearing work uniforms with glasses and like stealing cats. Like, what were they gonna do with the cats? What were they doing?
I'm just worried about the cats now.
I know, me too, Mike. What do you think they were doing?
I don't think there were weird little guys stealing cats. That's what for sure what I don't think was going on.
Yeah, no, it's a small town. Weird things happen.
Maybe it was a performance art piece.
Oh, I don't
Maybe
know.
Maybe it was a bunch of toddlers petting the cats. I don't know.
5-foot toddler?
No, he was 5 foot. They were like
He said he was 5'10".
That's true. Like they're around 4'10" to 5 foot. Sure.
Okay, then they weren't little guys. Then they were just
some dudes.
They were petite.
Petite. I like that term. But
honestly,
still,
that story wasn't too bad. It was definitely better written than the last time you subjected me to something like that.
It definitely wasn't the dog man or whatever it was in the swamp and the whole. God, that fucking story. Fuck that. This site though, it's a crapshoot. I'm gonna have one every weekend. Weird.
There we go. No,
So,
that's good to have your sources. You know what I mean?
Your crappy sources, yes. Now, that being said, we're gonna take a quick break, and for some I cannot talk for some messages, and we will be right back after this.
Hey, David, you know what makes our show great?
What's that, Kevin?
No ads. You know what would make it better?
What's that, Kevin?
Ads.
What if, and I'm just spitballing here, we do ads for independent creators at reasonable rates?
How reasonable?
Overly. How about $2 per episode pre-roll?
That is almost too reasonable.
Might as well go for it. Let's send everyone to the contact page for Supernatural Selection.
SupernaturalSelectionPod.com/contact?
Exactly. Just have them scroll down to the Advertise With Us section for more information.
That sounds great. Now let's record the ad.
Kevin,
Yes, David?
we just did.
And we're back. And if you'd like to hear a version of that story that's way more blue, you can join our Patreon because, man, there is stuff I do not say, and I am proud of my restraint. So, that being said, we're back, and David, I would like for you to pick up with your next story, sir.
Yeah, I think I've got I'm going to try to get a wacky animal story in every week.
Okay.
And by wacky, I mean cocaine-fueled.
God damn it.
So this is from The Bite, which is under futurism.com. I like to get a lot of articles from them.
Okay.
This was published on July 23rd by Victor Tangerman. And the headline is, Florida shark suspected of eating discarded bales of cocaine. Are cocaine sharks really feasting on illegal contraband?
Is this the origin of the movie Meg? The Meg?
No, the Meg predates this one.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Oh, God. Part of the reason I like Futurism is because they do every dumb, impulsive joke I would do.
Oh, good.
So-
okay, so you
so
don't,
the-
you
the
don't
head-
have to
the
do
header
any
for-
work.
The header for this one is Jaws for effect.
Oh, God.
It wouldn't be Shark Week without some wild tales of sharks interacting with humans, from feeding frenzies to horrific first-hand accounts of attacks, which are, for the record, rare. But this year's Shark Week, which is airing next week on Discovery, takes the cake when it comes to headlines-grabbing reports about the underwater monsters, this time with speculation about, quote, cocaine sharks, devouring huge bales of cocaine that sometimes wash up on Florida beaches.
God damn.
It may not be quite as far-fetched as it sounds. In June alone, the Coast Guard fished over 14,100 pounds of the white powder out of the Caribbean and Atlantic Ocean, as Live Science reports. To investigate the possibility that the sharks could help themselves, TV personality and marine biologist Tom the Blowfish Hurd
That is a hell of a nickname to develop. Like, is he the goat throat? Is that why he's called the blowfish?
Tom the blowfish herd teamed up with the University of Florida environmental scientist Tracy Finara for some fun but somewhat dubious-sounding experiments. Hurd and Finara got to work by dropping simulated packages of cocaine. No sharks were harmed in the making of this Discovery Special, to see if the sharks would bite. Even when placed next to decoy dummy swans, the shark swam right to the bales to take a bite. Quote, "We have no idea what cocaine could do to a shark," Hurd admitted to Live Science. Quote, "So we can't even say, well, this is a baseline and go from here."
Yeah, we don't know a hell of a lot about sharks.
Right? First of all, use real cocaine, cowards.
Yeah, fucking give them coke.
Maybe try some weed, see if that chills them out.
Won't a shark die if it stops moving? I have a feeling weed would really make it stop moving.
True.
This next header is jumping the shark.
God damn it!
Right? After
No
stuffing some
doping
more
the
bait after stuffing some more bait balls with concentrated fish powder, the closest and safest alternative to feeding cocaine to sharks they could think of, the duo says that sharks went wild and started acting irrationally.
They do that.
How is concentrated fish powder even close to cocaine?
Yeah, I'd have thought maybe powdered sugar or flour or something.
Oh, or
I mean,
PCP.
The fish thing smells like something that they would eat, so
Of course they're going to go into a frenzy.
yeah, cocaine though is I'm assuming would be if I smelled battery acid. I don't
know,
that.
man. What if they stuffed it in a tuna?
Well, they say we'll let readers decide whether that stands up to scrutiny. It doesn't.
No.
No.
But
Sorry,
Hurd is
guys.
urging audiences to consider broader implications of ocean pollution. Quote, "The deeper story here is the way that chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and illicit drugs are entering our waterways, entering our oceans, and what effect that they could then go on to have on these delicate ocean ecosystems. One thing's for clear, Cocaine Bear is so 5 months ago."
Yeah. So here's a thing I do know about sharks. I do know they like to nibble at things. Even if they can't smell blood. Because let's face it, nothing's bleeding. 99% of your creatures out there that you are gonna eat as a shark aren't actively bleeding at the moment.
Right.
So they'll go up and nibble on something. And then if it bleeds, they'll go. But I'd imagine if cocaine does in fact affect a shark in some way, that if it swam up to a bale and took a nibble at it, well, that just burst open the package, and it's now diffusing into the water. So not only is it, you have this highly saturated cocaine water around this bale that the shark is now swimming through. It doesn't actually have to eat the cocaine.
Technically, isn't that just an energy drink at this point?
You get the train spotting montage of the shark's eye getting all dilated.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Like the eyes get wide, but the pupils just constrict.
Yeah, no, it's like that. It's like that montage from Requiem for a Dream when he shoots up.
Yeah. So I saw a video this week, and the speculation was that this might have been a cocaine shark, because this is a shark doing something I've never seen before. It was swimming on the surface, but almost completely upside down, kind of canted to one side, one fin was in the water, but it was still mostly upside down, and just kind of snapping at the air 10 feet away from this boat, and just swimming in this kind of half circle near the boat, just snapping at the air and swimming upside down. I'm
where was this at?
I don't remember.
I think it was Australia, because they did not sound American.
Yeah,
because I was gonna say maybe it's just all the fish are being boiled because it's 100-degree water in Florida right now.
But if anything could have been the product of cocaine fueled shark, that could have been it.
Okay, but counter argument, it wanted belly scratches.
I'm not gonna belly scratch a shark though. That's a good way
this
to
is your shark. This is your shark on cocaine.
That's how you get the nickname Lefty.
That's fair. And here's a question. If your nickname is Lefty because you lost an arm, did you lose the left arm or the right arm?
Well, I'm left-handed, so I lost the left arm.
Okay, so
but if you're that's a good question. If you lose your left arm, Will you be called lefty or righty?
Okay, join the Discord or hit us up on Mastodon. We'll have that at the end of the show, and let us know if you're called lefty. Did you lose your left arm or your right arm? You can contact us on the website or on Mastodon.
My thought would be you would still
what's
have
the next
your left
cocaine animal?
cocaine
Like if
badger.
they're gonna cocaine what?
Cocaine honey badger.
Ooh.
Oh fuck!
You know what? I'm going down with Mike on this one because honey badger
goddamn.
already don't give a fuck.
Honey badger don't care.
Haven't they already announced a new drugged up animal horror movie?
Yes, and it's a sloth.
Yeah, that's right. It's a sloth.
It's a coked up sloth.
It's what was the name of the movie's like a pun or something?
Yeah, I don't remember what it is, but it's literally a movie about a coked up sloth.
I don't know, Cocaine Rex or something. There's going to be some sort of movie where they
Slaughterhouse,
and then the dinosaur escapes into the jungles of Colombia and then finds a drug trade area and gets into the cocaine.
All right,
so you got a Tyrannosaurus on cocaine, and there you go.
You just made me want to see a new Transformers animated thing with Greg Berger back as Grimlock, but on cocaine.
Just remake Narcos, but throw a Tyrannosaurus Rex in it.
So it's Narcos crossed with Jurassic Park.
This sounds like a cut scene from Weird.
And don't even explain what the T-Rex is doing in Narcos. Just occasionally have a drug dealer get picked off by a dinosaur.
But did you hear me what the name of the movie is?
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse.
Fucking awful. I hate it.
It sounds so stupid. I want to watch it.
Oh, God. Well, thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, no sharks were actually on cocaine, which, if you're going to do it,
do it.
Just do it.
Just fence sharks. They've been around a long time. And you're not getting the whole
shark's
species
going to survive.
hooked. Yeah. I don't know. I would like to see a coked up shark, though. If I haven't already from that video of the one swimming upside down. But that could be heat.
It could be heat, could just be ill. You never know. Mental illness and drug abuse, kind of look the same from the outside.
Oh, God.
A special shark.
I'm picturing a shark like Tyrone from Chappelle's Show.
The little shark and his little mittens are pinned to his fin because his mom wanted to make sure he took his mittens with him.
No, the
David,
shark.
You're killing me here, man. That's terrible.
The shark just didn't like the way he felt on his medication, so he went off of it against the advice of his doctors.
Yeah.
The shark's having his Britney moment.
Always talk to your professionals about getting off your medication.
He felt he just didn't have enough energy to do his job on the medication.
He should try another prescription then.
Yes.
Well, thanks for that, David. Mike.
Yeah.
What have you got? What's your second one?
So it's undeniable that the James Webb Space Telescope has been a boon to the scientific community.
Man, even with the problematic name, it is badass.
Yeah. So it was more than a decade late. Mm-hmm. It was triple over budget.
It was in the world of science. It was Duke Nukem Forever.
It was bordering on boondoggle status, and there was genuine apprehension during the launch that it was just going to explode in midair. Yeah, they were like, surely this has been coming for so long that it's just not going to make it to orbit. But anyway, so it has, and for the past over a year now, I think, has been doing really good science.
Oh,
well,
the shots we've been seeing are fucking amazing.
So, a new shot came out earlier this week from the James Webb Space Telescope, and I'm guessing it's a nebula. It doesn't really say. It's a near-infrared image captured by the Webb Space Telescope. But zoomed in on this, you see a very odd shape. These are all galaxies, so I'm assuming this is some form of galaxy. because it has to be on a very big scale. And the only way to describe the way it looks is a question mark.
And this isn't like kinda a question mark. This is straight up fucking question mark.
It is a little wonky. It's not like a perfect typeface question mark,
looks
but it
like
is
my question marks.
95% of the platonic ideal of what a question mark should look like.
That's a lot of big words.
Yeah.
This just sounds like Super Mario Galaxy.
No, it is. It is bizarre. I mean, obviously. I mean, not obviously, but I mean, I'm assuming it's like has to be some kind of occlusion to get that kind of
like a
something dark in front of it or something. But then again, if that's a galaxy, that would have to be gigantic. It would have to be a dark galaxy or something. Could be, I don't know, maybe the period or the dot of the question mark is a sun, and the curly Q is a like plume of gas, and there's like a black hole sucking it out. Who knows?
You know, I'll tell you what. Talk about a mysterious universe.
Oh,
yeah, no, this is uncanny.
Yeah, no. My comment on this is the BBC really needs to chill the fuck out with these Doctor Who promos, because like this is too far.
Oh, that's a good thing. I just read a thing that speculation it could be two galaxies interacting. Like the curly part is another galaxy that's being ripped apart by the dot galaxy.
I think they're just asking questions.
Yeah. You know, or it just, like someone else said, so this is just the universe coming back with the question. Now we got to find the answer.
Now, could it be that there's like a black hole in that spot that's...
Nah, because, like I said, the scale of this is on the galaxy scale. Like, all the objects you see around it are galaxies.
Yeah, this is way too big for... Like, if it were a supermassive black hole, it would just be a fucking galaxy. If it were a smaller black hole that could just suck stuff in, we wouldn't be able to observe it like this.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, I actually knew something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Give you
shocking.
a gold star brownie point.
Hey, I don't want your gold brownies. I don't want your brown star, is all there is to it. But I don't know. This is really cool looking to me. And, like, obviously this is us looking... You know, seeing a pattern, but like that's a fucking question mark. The Riddler is up there.
I mean, and also just to think about the fact that, you know, we're in the right location to see this, because from other angles it would not look like this. Mm-hmm. If you were on the complete opposite side of it, it would look like a backwards question mark.
Yeah, and you know, some Christians seeing this would look at this as like the proof of the existence of God if it weren't for the fact that they all think the earth is flat.
And also, like, you know, when did this, form of a question mark actually become become used? Because I'm sure at some point the root of that looked almost nothing like a question mark.
I like it.
I'm typing to find out the origin of the question mark.
But yeah, I mean,
it's actually based on the Q at the beginning of the Latin phrase quaestio, which is question. The Q and the O, it was abbreviated to quo, and then the Q on top of the O, and it evolved into the question mark. So
it before, you know, Greek times. I mean, even during Greek times, it was not a thing.
Yeah.
Or Roman times, whatever.
Yeah.
So
we all learned a lot.
You could say it's within the last 3,000 years.
I'm just picturing some Greek dude with like a scroll that has a picture of a question mark. He's going around, what is this? What is this? And that's how you get the origins of a question.
And because of a galactic,
I made this thing.
Because of the galactic scale, this thing has been looking like this for well longer than the question mark's been looking like it does.
Maybe this is the origin of the question mark, the definitive article, as it were.
So an alien took a Roman or Greek, which I can't remember which one you said, out into space and showed him this, and he came back and said, "Oh, that's what it's got to look like."
I don't know that.
I just like the idea of him just like not understanding what it is and just like drawing a picture of it, and then eventually the picture gets confused with the question, and that's like the mythical version of how the question mark comes together.
See, I'm just picturing a Babylonian astronomer priest somehow seeing this thing in the sky and going, "What the fuck is that?" And that's why they use it.
Well, considering that, it took our most powerful telescope to see it, is definitely not naked eye visible.
Yeah, so what you're saying is a Babylonian took a telescope and he put another telescope on the front of it.
And then he launched it into space so he could see.
He just stacked it all the way out into space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ancient aliens.
But
That's the answer.
here's another question. So obviously this picture has been rotated to look correct. I wonder what the original, orientation is, because if it was upside down, it would be, very relevant to the Spanish-speaking world.
Yes, it would.
Man, the Riddler's plan got really elaborate.
It really did. That fucker. Well, I'm glad you brought that one up, Mike, because I had forgotten about it till just now, and I just really, it is just uncanny.
And guess what? Both of my stories were from this week.
Woo! Mine are not. Speaking of, my next one is a neat one from July 12th. So, about a month behind here. I'm not going to read the title of the article, but I am going to read the article. This is from Sky News, actually, in the UK. Not to be confused with the transphobic BBC. So, birds are stealing anti-bird spikes put up by humans and using them to build their nests. Researchers from 2 Dutch natural history museums first came across the phenomenon in a hospital courtyard in Antwerp, which I love the name Antwerp. I want to name a kid Antwerp. So, magpies had ripped about 50 meters of anti-bird spikes.
Of course it's magpies.
Of course it is. From the hospital building and used them to build a huge nest of 1,500 anti-bird spikes. Anti-bird spikes are often installed on buildings to discourage birds from nesting there. Biologist, and I am so going to fuck this up, Auke Florian Hemstra of the Naturalis Biodiversity Center said the magpies were using the pins in the same way humans do, to keep other birds away from their fucking nest.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like a joke, really, he says. Even for me, as a nest researcher, these are the craziest bird's nests I've ever seen. And if you look at it, it looks like a nightmare sculpture of razor wire or something.
It's like the fucking Iron Throne.
Yeah, no, exactly.
The next step is they're going to start using those spikes to throw them at people.
Oh yeah, no, they're just going to start dropping them from the sky. Magpies will make a roof on their nest to protect their eggs and young and will often use thorny branches. But in the city, anti-bird spikes offer an urban alternative. The researchers described the behavior as the, quote, ultimate adaptation to life in the city. Mm-hmm. The research, published in Dine C, the annual of the National History Museum in Rotterdam, describes similar magpie nests found in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Scotland. Crows, of fucking course, have also been found making nests with the spikes in the Netherlands. It's not the first example of unhospitable items being used for birds' nests. Burbs. Other sharp materials, including fucking barbed wire and knitting needles, are also used by magpies for the roof of their nests. I love the idea of nope, kid ain't getting out. Ain't nobody getting in, but the kid ain't getting out.
Some of them have been seen deploying handguns as auto turrets.
I could see that. And one spy sapping my sentry.
Oh, God.
They've adapted to burning pitch to knock down onto
They yes,
Passerby.
they develop boiling oil, and they will tar and feather people.
Yeah,
I don't
with
know.
the feathers.
Their own
yes.
feathers too. That's hardcore.
But yeah, no, I love the idea that these fucking things have started going. Fuck it, I'll steal your your deterrents.
I mean,
And oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it kind of makes sense in this, in the way that they say they use thorny branches. So to them, it's just like another thorny branch.
Oh, yeah.
It's a thorny branch there just to keep a animal, which I'm assuming birds are part of those animals.
Oh, yeah, no,
away
'cause-
from the fruit of the plant.
Because there's some birds that will go into a nest, knock the eggs out, and then take the nest.
Well,
so,
yeah,
like, this is
or
definitely
just predators in general, like
mongooses.
well, just whatever would want to eat the eggs or the young
Yeah, mongooses.
chicks, or cats, fucking
Yeah,
cats.
okay, fair.
Other birds, bigger birds. But yeah, so it just seems like an outgrowth of that. What I am surprised about is how big the sections are. I was
that
expecting
fucking
just
thing is huge.
just individual spikes, but they have the whole strip
Yeah.
in there.
It's a
Yeah.
nest made up of, it said like 1,500 spikes.
Well, I've seen a documentary. I don't remember how long ago this was, but like animals adapting to urban environments, and it's fascinating. Like, it's not good for the animals in the long run, but it's still just fascinating to see how these things adapt.
Yeah,
And it was literally just a documentary of like, here's a city, here's some of the animals, here's how they're dealing with all this stuff.
Yeah.
I agree, David. We should destroy society.
It's almost as if
Yeah.
life finds a way.
Oh, god damn it, Jeff Goldblum, motherfucker. So, yeah, that's my other story. So,
I like it.
David. Before we go into questions and my new ending segment for the Weeks in Weird, I think it's time X gives it to us.
And I completely forgot we were doing X.
All right, great. We will skip that and we'll go straight to questions.
Oh, okay, wait, no, I've got one.
Okay.
They delivered.
Did
Okay. Man, I'm good at my job.
they? You are the best.
Title of the thread is Cat Thread. And the question is, what are the paranormal implications of cats?
Well, I mean, there's the whole witches familiar thing, because cats are very independent and they can turn on you real quick, so everybody associates them with demons. There's the cats having 9 lives thing. What are some of the, Mike?
I mean, they've always been, because cats have way better vision and hearing than people, so they've always been considered to see like spirits or beyond the
Right.
veil or stuff like that.
Oh, like that Stephen King movie where the cat was stopping the gnome from stealing kids' breath.
Well, yeah. And that's another thing, is cats were, seen as, because they would sleep on kids or people, they thought they were, maybe
Look.
being nefarious and like, oh, I'm going to steal this kid's breath.
Look,
Because, that's a valuable commodity in kids, apparently.
breathing.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I mean, I can see how it happens because, kids, especially back then, kids would
Well,
just die.
There was, well, yeah, I mean, sudden,
And if you-
sudden infant death syndrome.
If you come into the room the next day and you have a dead kid and the cat, obviously who's attached to the kid is like laying on him trying to comfort.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the cat took the kid's breath.
Now, I have woke up, having breathing difficulty and realized Conti was asleep on my face.
Well,
So-
yeah,
but
there's that too.
That's a very Catch-22 the book scenario.
So that's cat owner
Yeah.
fan death.
Yeah. So, David, what are some of the responses?
Okay. First response that I see here is ultra-terrestrials walk-ins.
Okay,
So-
Mike, I want you to remember that it's not just me.
I know
doing
it's
the
not just you.
Ultra-terrestrials.
It's not just you, but you're the only one I know.
Well, it's because David doesn't live here.
Well, the only one I know that brings it up all the time.
Okay, fair.
Let's see. Here's another post. They purr at a healing frequency. If you get sick and Kitty is extra cuddly and purry, that's why.
Now, I will say that Ginger is like real big about making sure I'm happy and stuff and like not depressed, and because like I've had like the worst days ever, and she will come up and just snuggle up and purr with me, which she does not always do. So I can see that.
We got a little poem here.
Oh no.
Cats deserve all the kisses, the hugs, cat grass, and treats. Agile animals who are expressive. They chase quickly, react just as fast. Cats are among man's best friend, innocent and bold. Shoelaces are stopped cold, not a couch left unscratched.
Calling a cat innocent is quite the stretch. I like cats, but they are not innocent creatures.
I am
they
gonna
know
say,
their
sorry, go ahead.
they know their misdeeds.
Yeah, they know what they did. But I am going to say I love the sentiment, but wow, it's a shitty poem.
I don't know the exact meter of it, but like it's fine. I've heard worse.
All right, that's fair.
Let's see. Cats are very intelligent. There are cats who are on the level of human intelligence. If only we could talk to them.
That's a big old guess, because like Ginger is extremely smart, but she will poop where the fuck ever she wants sometimes, and I don't know that that's intelligent.
Oh, she knows you're going to clean it up, so.
Look, fuck.
Someone suggested that cats are fairies.
Only in the fact that they are horrible trickster gods.
Someone posted a picture of Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys with a quote, "That's a pretty fucking nice kitty right there," which I appreciate.
I know you, yes you do.
Let's see. Yeah, so, like, it's a weirdly wholesome thread for X.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, way better than some of the shit you dealt with.
Right? It's kind of cute. Yeah, so, just, cats are wonderful.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We're pro-cat. We're pro-cat on
We're
this podcast.
definitely pro-cat. So,
and I saved the segment. Good for me.
Yay!
I completely forgot.
So, we've got some questions, guys. And the first one is from Kick-Assatron. Which, hello. So, are services like Outhorse Your Email the number one way to combat the eventual AI takeover of intellectual property? Now, I don't know about you, but I did not know what Outhorse Your Email is. So I went to the website, which is a section of visiticeland.com. And what it is disconnect from work and let the horses of Iceland reply to your emails while you are on vacation. Seriously. There is a giant keyboard, and they let the horses walk on it. And, like, you know that trick where you ask them how old they are and they'll, like, stomp the ground? They'll, like, do that on different keys and, like, just bang on them. And they will send that email. And underneath it says, pick a horse and start outhorsing your emails. Litya Strajarna fra Vicharvolti. Types fast, but might take a nap. Another one. Frirmnir fra Verme. I'm not saying he's right, but assertive, efficient, shiny hair. And then there's Hekla fra Porkel Sholi. Friendly, trained in corporate buzzwords. And that horse is just my favorite because it is sticking its tongue out at you.
So if you get one who doesn't respond appropriately, that means you picked the wrong horse, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
How horses learn to write emails. Did we really teach the horses of Iceland to type on a giant keyboard? Yes, we did. Watch the video to see how the magic happens. Things to do in Iceland while a horse answers your emails. This is nice. I like this actually, and you know what? I firmly think that yes, this is how we combat AI horse emails.
You know, not AI related, but it reminds me a little bit of LennyBot.
Lennybot?
Yeah, have you? You find like compilations on YouTube. It's this bot that's used to combat like telemarketers.
Oh, one of these things.
Yeah, so it's just like this old guy named Lenny, this artificial old guy named Lenny, and like some of those, like most people will figure out in a couple of minutes are talking to a bot, but you know it's funny when it's like you get like an hour-long like conversation between the bot and the telemarketer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's all over YouTube. Just type
Okay.
in like LennyBot, and you'll
LennyBot.
find. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
Okay, I'll look into those.
But
So-
yeah, they can make one of those for like AI bots, I suppose.
Sure,
to-
but I kind of like the idea of outsourcing to horses.
yeah, no, I think the horses one is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, no, that's great, and just it's a way to invite people to come visit Iceland. Come pet our many horses. So
What they should do is they should make a bot that just pretends that, or it's supposed to be like a person who's part of MUFON. So then it'll just like annoy the other bot with questions about like UFOs.
you know, this actually reminds me of that quiz where you could make your girlfriend take the quiz, and it would determine if she was a girl or a horse, so that the horse would not eat your gems.
I remember that.
Yes.
Do you remember the horse ebooks Twitter account?
Oh, of course I remember horse ebooks. That was
God,
great. Do you
man.
remember
God.
Jeff Jacques from Questionable Content had the best website and was forced to have to take it down, which was Walmart.horse. And it was just the website was just a photo of a Walmart with a horse leaning into frame, and Walmart demanded he take it down or they'd sue him.
Oh man.
I was like, it's just a horse.
Why are horses so fucking funny, man?
I don't know, because they're marginally terrifying.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Because
because
there's
they're evil.
They're-
They're 1,000 pounds of nightmare flesh that can like hurt you.
Because like one of my favorite memes is just that horse on the beach, and it just says "man." Just the horse staring out into the water. Man.
I'm just laughing thinking about it. I love that one. Just
Yeah.
man. So
We're pro horse on this
we are,
podcast.
we're pro cat and pro horse for the most
For
part.
different reasons.
For different reasons. So Man in Black has a question, and this is a one out of left field, and I don't know, Mike. This also relates to you. You're a writer.
Sometimes
You've come up
really.
with stories.
Yeah, but you know.
So, Man in Black asks, this is out of left field. Your first, or one of your first, created characters, do they still exist currently?
Yes.
Yes. From you, David? Do you
yeah.
want to tell us who that is?
So in Cosmic Dash, characters appeared a couple times. Aaron, Eron.
Yes.
He is like my first character I developed, and he's changed a lot. Didn't used to be called Aaron. Didn't used to be blue haired or anything like that.
Right.
He used to at one
This is-
point be kind of gnome like.
Is this the World
Yeah.
Walker?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes. Love Aaron.
And then Dash, of course, being like my second oldest like serious character.
Right.
Back when he was Speedy the Turtle.
Yes, I remember you showed me that drawing. Or you may have posted it on DeviantArt. I don't remember. Way back in the day when DeviantArt was a going concern. Mike, as a writer, I remember you and me worked on some stories or some stuff you've written over the years. Any of those technically still sort of exist as like a project that you'd like to come back to?
Not really. I mean, there's several of those. Like, they've been from high school.
Like the Schoolgirls of the Apocalypse,
Or, yeah, stuff like that.
which was a fantastic idea we need to go back and revisit if I can ever, like, get my hand to stop hurting when I draw.
Okay, so hearing that title, I've always wanted to do a Doom mod where all the demons are replaced by anime schoolgirls, like MOA, giant eyes. That's what I'm picturing. Is that what you're...
Well, this was
no.
basically like if Sailor Moon, instead of being the planets, were, the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
In high
I
school.
love it.
In high school, yes.
Yeah, no, it's
Love
a
it.
great idea. It is seriously one of the best ideas you've ever had for
And-
a story, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's great.
And there's supposed to be this
TM
whole...
copyright, do not steal.
Yeah, donut steal.
Do not steal original characters.
But yeah, no, I had the whole characters worked up and stuff like that.
I did character designs, and they were like early art, so it was like very, very rip-off anime.
Yeah.
I still think, which one was it? Pestilence was like my favorite that I designed. She's all frumpy, and she's like walking around with a bottle of NyQuil.
It's like Team Girl Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was Morphus.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know what yours is.
Morphus is not still around. I've tried to adapt it a few times, but like it's so rooted in the 90s. I stole like a bunch of the designs and some of the concepts for other stuff, like all the battle armor from Coda's World was from Morphus. And some of the ideas behind Morphus ended up making its way into Aaron Apprentice.
Yeah.
So it lives in the fact that I have continually mined the good parts for other things.
It's just some poor being in a lab just
Yeah.
take little pieces off
and
of
it
him. And
would it be
Wow, you're
fair,
making
Kevin?
me feel terrible.
Would it be fair, Kevin, to say Morphus was also kind of heavily Mary Sue-ish?
Oh, yes. Yes. Morphus is the character that you imagine running next to your car when you're going on the interstate. Like, that's what Morphus was, except instead of running, it was me flying, and it turned into Morphus. So that's where that came from. It was also like, man, I am really sick of what's happening in X-Men. So, yeah, there's a lot of that. So thank you for that question, Man in Black.
yeah, that was a fun one. We don't get
Yeah.
to do like stuff like that very often.
Yeah, because we're all three creatives, just of varying degrees.
And output.
Yeah, that too. David is obviously the goddamn robot of the three of
I'm
us.
so tired. I'm so tired.
You know, one of these days I'm going to have to see if I can get Barry Lank on here, because Barry has been at this since, like, he toured the Marvel bullpen with Tom DeFalco during a job interview. So, like, he's been around a long time.
Yep.
So, and we got one more question from the one, the only God Vemperor Ghostforge, newest member of the Patreon. What, quote, UFO encounters do you all think are probably military testing or fucked up incidents that people jump to conclusions about?
Isn't that like 100% of them?
Not 100%, but I am going to say, like, we did an episode on the one I think is most likely a military thing, and that's the Cash Landrum UFO incident. I really think that was a military botch.
I'd say the vast majority, honestly.
Okay.
I would say, I don't know, I'd say the vast, well, depends on what you mean by, because I would say the vast majority have actually just reported UFO sightings, whether they be, just far off lights or something, or just, are something benign. But yeah, any of the ones where there's closer encounters, like, where it's seen as more than just a point of light.
Like the Rendlesham Forest incident.
Which one? I don't know. These by
We've
name, Kevin.
not
You ought to know
done.
this by
We
now.
haven't done an episode about it, and we need to. Is like 1980. One of the most is a military personnel encountering a UFO at Rendlesham Air Base in the UK. You should do a little reading on it.
I think I know a little bit about this. I've
Okay.
heard about this one.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, like some of the
There's
stories
like
that
a
came
lot of first-hand
afterwards.
account from
Yeah.
it.
Oh, there's audio.
Yeah, I think
of the radio.
Yeah,
Communication.
maybe. But anyway, I was thinking more of like the triangle UFO.
Oh yeah, that's
the ones where you can
obviously. Yeah,
You know.
some military stuff.
My theory
we
about
should we should do a tier list of UFO shapes and figure out what the best shape is.
Oh, yeah, I've got a shirt of UFO shapes, and we totally ought to do one based on that.
Yeah, what's S tier? What's S tier?
Oh, God.
Figure that one out first.
No, we'll have to figure that out, yeah.
anything penile.
I was going to say,
Phallic.
like, I don't know, man, the sport model. You know, the Bob Lazar sport model actual flying disc, but we'll get into that later. We'll do an episode about it. So, guys, to take us out, I've decided for the next few episodes, since Reddit already's been failing me, I'm going to do a reading from the Principia Discordia.
Okay.
And this is from page 38 of the Principia Discordia, however you want to pronounce it. A sermon on ethics and love. One day, Mal II asked the messenger spirit Saint Gulick to approach the goddess and request her presence for some desperate advice. Shortly afterwards, the radio came on by itself, and an ethereal female voice said, "Yes?" "O Eris, blessed mother of man, queen of chaos, daughter of discord, concubine of confusion, O exquisite lady, I beseech you to lift a heavy burden from my heart." "What bothers you, Mal? You don't sound well." "I am filled with fear and torment, with terrible visions of pain. Everywhere people are hurting one another. The planet is rampant with injustices. Whole societies plunder groups of their own people. Mothers imprison sons. Children perish while brothers war. Oh, whoa! What's the matter with that if it's what you want to do? But nobody wants it. Everybody hates it." "Oh, well, stop it then." At which point, she turned herself into an aspirin commercial and left the Polyfather stranded alone with his species.
Now, when you were going over that list, I just wanted to interject with dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't, but I wanted you to be able to go through and read it.
I'm really proud of you for the restraint. But I just like that with the whole idea of presenting Eris with all this terrible stuff. She's like, well, what's wrong? Everybody wants to do it. Well, stop it then.
Mm-hmm. Very, very Hitchhikers with her turning into an aspirin commercial.
Yes, it is. I have to wonder how many of the authors I've read knew about the Principia Discordia. Like, did Adams know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, most likely.
Probably. So anyway, that's our final little bit. So that leaves me to say, well, first off, we got any plugs?
Spark plugs, butt plugs.
Nope. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Butt plug. David, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, RG Bots is coming back. We're going through, Kevin, you're helping me update the archive, pulling everything from Twitter, putting it on the website. Going to start producing more content again. I'm kind of try to embrace kind of the more Discordian elements of my point of view.
It is a very Discordian comic in its own way.
Yeah, so, I'm looking forward. And that's the thing. Like, I've been sitting on all these punchlines, but I haven't made new comics because I got to pull all the old comics off of Twitter. X. Ugh. So, long story short, fuck Elon Musk. RG Bots is coming back.
Yep, awesome. I think you should bring it back on Mastodon.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be posting, like, news strips on Mastodon as they go up.
Awesome. Yep. Okay. And Mike, your plugs are for the butt.
Yes.
Butt plugs. All right. And my plug is for this show. Please listen to this show. If you haven't listened to this show, listen to this show. You can
please share it with people.
Share it with your. If you've enjoyed this show, please share it with your friends.
Share it with your enemies too.
Yeah, maybe they. If you don't like it, maybe they will. So, thank you everyone for listening. You can find all the information you could probably ever want to about the show on supernatpod.rocks. That is supernatpod.rocks, as in a group of singular rocks. And you can find links to our Discord, our Patreon, all the episodes. You can find a contact form if you would like to advertise with us, which you can advertise with us. And yeah, we just really enjoy doing the show, and we're glad you're all listening.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot how to end this show. So
Goodbye. No.
Anyway, we'll see you next time. Next week, I am working on an episode about the Dogon tribe in Africa, which should be very fascinating, not just because of the crazy bookstore racism stuff, but the Dogon are kind of a fascinating story in general. So, should be fun. Hope you enjoy it. I'll have it ready next week. So, until then, everyone stay safe and stay frosty. Goodbye.
Someone should check up on those cats.
Somebody should check up on those. Mike, go check on those cats.
Goodbye, kitties.
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Give me your money, meow, meow, meow. Join the Super Chat Patreon.